Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of NCIS Season 18, Episode 13, entitled Misconduct, an episode that surprisingly ends with Gibbs once again not really being about bending over backwards for NCIS. Is anyone shocked at this point?
No, it seems like this is where we are right now, guys.
Is NCIS just going to end this season with Gibbs just taking a nap on the sofa while someone's pounding on his door? Because I'm a little bit worried about that now.
Yeah, I mentioned this in our last review. I'm going to mention it in this review. I'm going to mention it in every review. This is dragging on a little bit too long. Either he needs to be back with the team or they need to wrap it up in some sort of other way. Him not being part of the team is very strange. As great as it is to see him at home working on his boat and having the dog with resting guilt face all day long, like our dog, It's all awesome, but it's not what I watch the show for.
No, we want to see Gibbs grabbing the gear. We want to see him back with the team. There were a couple of fun moments, and I'm sure we'll talk about them, but yeah, there is this big gaping hole right now in this show.
Yeah, there is. I mean, even that moment where we had Bishop call Gibbs and talk to Gibbs, and he was kind of like, what do you want me to do about it? It's like, you are the leader of this team. This is a rudderless boat right now.
Yeah. There's a meme of this cartoon with a stick pointing at something saying, please do something, and people always insert a random thing in there. Gibbs needs to be that thing that the figure's poking the stick at. Come on, Gibbs, do something.
Yeah.
Other than potentially, obviously, jeopardize your career going on the stand during a key court case. But
if you happen to have a stick, poke that subscribe button.
See, we did not plan that, by the way. Okay, I don't know if we're ever going to top that, but, that's the best way to make sure you don't miss any other NCIS updates, so please do something.
Also, I'm sure if you haven't seen any of our other videos, we have moved. So, the room that we're in now, we're turning this into our studio. We're still kind of fiddling with lights. We haven't done any painting. You might hear a little bit of an echo. That is what is going on right now. So please bear with us as we work to create a better YouTube studio.
Yes, this is going to be a perfect, awesome space. We're so excited about it.
It's just going to take some time.
Yes, it'll take a little bit of time. I mean, I wish it would be as fast as this court case was, because this is actually one of my big issues with this episode. I love a good, meaty courtroom drama. It is probably why I obsessed over Suits far longer than most other people did. It felt like this entire court case was blah, 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 blah. Gibbs, go up on the stand. You were a criminal. Jury, how do you feel about Gibbs having a criminal act? That's it. The case is over.
Yeah, it's kind of like everything else that the other lawyer had said. Oh, he's got the Purple Heart. He's got this, his service, decades long, Silver Star, everything. All of a sudden was just wiped out with, oh, so you did this one bad thing. Yes. Why did you do it? This guy was drowning dogs. Oh, okay, so, then that's the case closed. I was just kind of like, okay, that one thing does not take away from everything else that you've done. You can't be like, oh, he's done all these really great things in decades, but this one thing unravels it all. It's just, that's the other thing with that other lawyer who was trying to tell the jury, listen, if he's, willing to do this, and he's willing to lie, right? But Gibbs didn't lie. Yeah. He sat right up there and said, yeah, I did it. Do you regret it? No. Okay, he could have easily lied there and said, yeah, of course, I regret it. Whatever you need to hear, jury. If I was a juror, I'd be feeling a little like, this guy is telling me the truth.
I think there would be a very difficult jury deliberation if one of us was on the jury at that point. I'm not excusing away what Gibbs did, but it is, like we said many times in these videos, I think people emotionally would understand Gibbs having a very strong reaction to someone doing terrible things to dogs, because people love dogs.
I love dogs.
Who doesn't love dogs? And you know what I don't love? This horrible defense attorney who was just mucking up the screen. He is worse than Agent Sawyer, that guy from a few weeks ago who was just the toolbox. This is this case was just too rudimentary. Like, all across the board, it felt like, okay, we got to get from point A to point B, so we're going to give you this. It's just, everything felt a little bit too obvious, and there wasn't enough time in this episode to give, like, something like a court case the proper weight it deserved.
I was really looking forward to this episode. I'm not going to lie. When I heard this whole idea that Gibbs was going to be in court and that it was going to expose a little bit more of what he did and put him more in the limelight. So, because he really seems to want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so here's another opportunity to make that happen. He's going to be saying it on the record and he's going to be accountable for things. Just let him be accountable so that he can go back to work, because that's what I want to see. But going into this episode, I was really excited about it because I did think that there was going to be a lot of back and forth with Gibbs and this other lawyer that I just didn't get. I know that Gibbs is a man of few words, but at the same time, the words that he uses hold weight. And I think I just expected more from all of this. I almost wish that there wasn't the hit on the witness and all this other stuff. And I know they kind of have to do this because it is still a procedural and they have to include the rest of everybody else. But maybe for just one episode, they didn't have to.
I would have been fine with that. Like, actually, I probably would have loved that. It would have been an interesting sort of way for NCIS to shake it up. I still feel like all your syndication money would still work. You can still go to the bank and cash that check, NCIS.
Of course, a whole episode of Gibbs in court. I'd watch that.
Yeah, nobody's going to be mad about having more Gibbs in an episode of this show. I think we can say that with some confidence.
And I think it would have given him some more meaty material. And he has said for a long time that he'll continue doing this show as long as the material is good.
I'm going to put on a tinfoil hat here for a second, though, because I have a theory about how this episode concluded. Because you see, Gibbs gets that call from NCIS, and he just kind of looks at it, and he's just like, I want to lie here with my dog. And then he turns it off. I know that was a very Southern Gibbs, but, here's the thing.
You're a Southern guy.
That's right. I am embodying the spirit of Gibbs my own way. But, okay, this is what because ultimately they got this Parker James dude in the end anyway, and Gibbs did have a role in sort of constructing a lot of what went down here. Mm-hmm. Is it possible that NCIS or Vance was calling him to basically be like, well, you said what you said in court, and at the end of the day, Parker James is still, going to be going to prison. So how about that job now, Gibbs? You did a good thing for us. Is it going to be coming back?
Yeah, and it could have been, or it could have just been Bishop. Because, they did say in the bullpen, hey, let's all go get a drink. And want to ask Gibbs? Sure, let's ask him. But because it just came up as NCIS, it's not really clear who it was that was calling him. Everyone was still at the office.
Maybe it was just Jimmy just being like, hey, Gibbs, I'm lonely. Do you want to have a conversation?
I felt like it's probably was Bishop, because they did say, give him a call. Let's see if he wants to come out. But he doesn't know that. But it did make me, again, very sad that he did not pick up that call, because sure, it could have been somebody else at the office that was talking to him about either coming back or another case. Even though he didn't pick up that call, that could have been something about another case, but probably Bishop. He was holding a file folder with other newspaper clippings, like he's looking into something else. Is this something that maybe that reporter is working on and he's looking into that, or is he still working other cases but just on his own? It's not very clear.
Yeah, and because we didn't get any Pam Dauber in this episode, we didn't really get any update on that.
No, but the last we heard, said, I'm working on something else. Do you want to take a look? He said, okay, so that's probably what it is, but, who knows?
Let's get in a car for a moment, because actually we need to drive over. I'm acting as though I can actually drive, but let's go to Ellick Avenue, because we have to make a little pit stop here.
Yes, we do.
With this interrogation scene where Bishop decides to talk about having someone in her life that means so much to her.
that she would do anything for him. We all know who she's talking about.
Now, listen, I know all of you, any naysayers out there, I know you're going to say Bishop was probably hamming it up a little bit because she was trying to get this person to talk, but you know what? She still said it. I still believe in what she said.
No, I think what she said is true.
Yeah, I think it's another reminder that it's happening. I'm getting closer to admitting that, you were probably right. They did probably kiss after that whole incident where they were trapped.
Yeah, I absolutely think that they did. This is a show that loves to do stuff off screen. Yes, we did have Sloane and Gibbs kiss this season, but she was leaving the show. But in general, stuff seems to happen off screen until somebody's leaving the show. So I think something's going on. I think they kissed at that point. I think something's been going on since then because they have definitely been acting different.
Here's the thing, I remember last week around when Sangre was aired, Gulmer did a couple of different interviews, and he was saying in those interviews that there was more stuff coming for Ellie fans this season. Was he just referring to this? Because if this is it, I may lose my mind before the finale if there's nothing more.
I think this was pretty good.
I am greedy. This is sort of like saying that we're going to an ice cream parlor, and I go there, and you're giving me a cone that's like that, and it's one lick, and then that's all the ice cream. I need the full ice cream falling all over me. Which has happened before, actually, if I'm being honest.
Matt, this is NCIS. We know what this show is. It's been on for 18 seasons now. It is going to be a really super slow, long ride into Ellick Avenue, and then we'll get the on-screen kiss when one of them, knock on wood, it's not anytime soon, decides to leave the show.
I feel like there's going to be a new segment coming up entitled Matt's Delusional Ice Cream Parlor, which is probably a little bit too long of a name for it, but
Listen, I understand I was on Slib Street, I had my party streamers, and
yes.
It paid off.
It did pay off. Listen.
But I lost her. She had to leave the show for it to happen. So, you know what? I have on my hard hat because I've been watching the show a really long time, yes. And this is what this show does to me. I know what I've gotten myself into.
Yeah.
It's okay.
In the end, there wasn't a lot of satisfactory answers in this episode. I mean, yeah, it was cool to have some throwbacks to hear about Casey's earlier days or hear a callback to when, McGee was on vacation.
I really liked the part with Casey tonight where she sort of said, I was new. I didn't realize Gibb wouldn't turn on his recording device, that I should have been doing something like that. I had no idea. It was cool to hear some of that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like this is the thing where I get kind of driven up the wall with this show here and there, because I can tell that the NCIS writers, that they do really care about the mythology of this show.
Yeah.
They care about the history. They love doing these nods to fans. But then I get so annoyed because I feel like CBS is include a case of a week or else in every single episode, and I think it hampers their ability to tell some stories as well as they could.
Sometimes, yes. Yes, it's true. And this episode specifically, yes.
That is what... Okay, CBS. Let the birds fly. Let's get them out into the distance. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's true. I mean, NCIS is a TV comfort food. It is something that you can sit down, watch an episode. You've never seen the show before. You can get in there, watch, enjoy, get out, and feel good afterwards. But it really does hit its peak when it has these really nice overarching stories that go over maybe 2 episodes or 3 episodes. It gets the writing just gets really good because they can do a lot more.
Well, let's hear from you guys about all of this, because what did you think about NCIS Season 18, Episode 13? Did you like the story? Do you wish we had more time with it? Are you making a trip to the ice cream parlor anytime soon?
All right.
Let us know in the comments, and if you do like this video, subscribe for more, and support us by checking out those links to the store, our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.